In bygone years, these lands had tall tales of folk heroes like Pecos Bill, John Henry, and Paul Bunyan. Little yarns about big men. They helped children believe the world was a more magical place than it really was. Lately, folk don't need to tell campfire stories to make the world seem interesting. Travelers will still find a few pre-war posters and postcards about the Sierra Madre scattered around the wasteland, and every now and then some crazy old scavenger scrawls "Gone to Sierra Madre" along the highway before wandering off into the desert to die on a fool's quest. Hundreds of years ago, foolhardy men would head out west into these hills in search of gold, but the prospectors these days are panning for pre-war prosperity. The Sierra Madre is an old-world resort whose opulence is said to be perfectly preserved through the apocalypse. It was built by an industrialist named Frederick Sinclair for the highest of high society. Makes the New Vegas Strip look like a back alley in Junktown. An oasis where the lucky could win a fortune at the roulette table, see the biggest celebrities in the world like Dean Domino, or promenade with up-and-coming starlets through quaint villas. It was an exclusive far-off vacation spot, suspiciously secluded for a tourist destination.
According to a new report, violent crime is
I went out for a walk one morning.
The report credits the decline of the population of fiends in the area. In possibly related news, local chem dealers report an overall decrease.
And I decide to look at my Pip-Boy for some new radio stations. And I found one.
Has your life taken a turn? Do troubles beset you? Has fortune left you behind? If so, the Sierra Madre Casino, in all its glory, is inviting you to begin again. Come to a place where wealth, excitement, and intrigue await around every corner. Stroll along the winding streets of our beautiful resort. Make new friends, or rekindle old flames. Let your eyes take in the luxurious expanse of the open desert under clear, starlit skies. Gaze straight on into the sunset from our villa rooftops. Countless diversions await. Gamble in our casino, take in the theater, or stay in one of our exclusive executive suites that will shelter you and cater to your every whim. So if life's worries have weighed you down, if you need an escape from your troubles, or if you just need an opportunity to begin again, join us. Let go and leave the world behind at the Sierra Madre grand opening this October. We'll be waiting.
So I decided to follow the radio, and it led me to this abandoned bunker. So I decided to go check it out and see what it is. Little did I know, this will start one of the creepiest and saddest stories I've ever heard.
Our exclusive executive suites that will shelter you and cater to your every whim. So if life's worries have weighed you down, if you need an escape from your troubles,
leading
or
its
if you
people
just
to a
need
new
an
land with big
opportunity
dreams
to
and a
begin again, join us. Let go and leave the world behind at the Sierra Madre grand opening this October. We'll be waiting.
You've heard of the Sierra Madre Casino. We all have. The legend, the curses, foolishness about it lying in the middle of the city of the dead, buried beneath a blood-red cloud. A bright, shining monument luring treasure hunters to their doom. The world's most famous stars and entertainers were invited to its grand opening. An invitation was a sign of exclusiveness. The opening was supposed to symbolize a road to a brighter future, not just for the world, but for all who came to its doors. A chance for anyone to begin again. Except the Sierra Madre never opened. The war froze it in time, like a big flashbulb going off. The grand opening, one big ending of humanity. It's still out there, in the wastes, preserved, just waiting for someone to crack it open. But getting to it, that's not the hard part. It's letting go.
We wake up on the floor. We stand to our feet. Our head is woozy, and lightning strikes.
Are you listening? Good. From now on, when I talk, listen and follow my instructions. Play stupid, play clever. Make the mistake of saying no. That collar on your neck will go off and take your head with it.
Collar? What are you talking about?
It's like that Pip Boy on your wrist, except filled with explosives. A little radio of the old world. Just needed some tuning. Do what I say, and the collar will go off. Refuse, try and run, disobey me, I'll kill you and find someone else. There's no escape from here until I let you go. The sooner you accept your situation, the better. You think I wanted to place collars on you to ensure compliance? No. If robots could have done this, I would have sent them. The Sierra Madre is a complicated lock. Cracking it open requires human hands.
What is it that you want?
That structure you see above the fountain, the Sierra Madre Casino. You need to break inside. Heist. Too many years in the making. But to get inside, avoid its traps, you'll need to gather a team. As I found, one cannot do it alone. Around the villa are 3 other callers like yours. Caller 8, 12, and 14. Find all 3 and get them here to the fountain. Then we'll talk more. And should you get any ideas about killing each other and taking the treasure of the Sierra Madre for yourself, a warning. All your callers are linked. One of you dies, you all die. If that's what it takes to make you cooperate, so be it.
So my explosive slave collar is connected to other people, and if they die, I die? Why would you do that?
Because in some respects, breaking into the Sierra Madre is easier than breaking human instinct. Greed. The villa is filled with corpses. Some killed by the dangers here, some by me. Others turned on each other. Once they realized the Sierra Madre could be theirs, they cared nothing for their freedom, their survival, or each other. The ones brought here live on only in what they've left behind. Their marks, graffiti on the walls, and victims they've killed. Some tried to help, left supplies and healing for others who came. Their reward? They were tracked down, killed by others with baser instincts. Some of these murderers went as far as to leave traps behind them, turning markers for help into death traps for anyone following them. It killed some of them when they forgot where the traps were, or when they desperately needed the assistance they had cut others off from.
Oh, what a predicament. Who are you?
Someone who followed the call of the Sierra Madre just as you did. Now that I found is more than a story, I intend to take what's inside. Maybe that's why you came, why you followed the Pip-Boy here, and straight into one of my traps. Now, this is your reward.
Maybe we'll get more answers from him later on, but for the moment, we must attend the task at hand. Father Elijah, you mentioned something about finding 3 others. What exactly do you want me to do right now?
Gather the 3 others needed for this job, return them here. After that, I'll have more instructions for you.
Well, if it's our only option, I guess we have no choice but to start work.
I've downloaded the instructions and markers on your Pip-Boy, in case you forget. And yes, I have access to that device on your wrist. Get the other 3 here. After that, I'll have more instructions for you. Do this, I'll let you go. I'll let all of you go.
With that, Father Elijah disappears. At last, we finally reach the clinic.
Watch for hologram security. Not as nice as the lady at the fountain, trust me.
And as we step forward, Elijah's voice reaches out to us from our Pip-Boy.
Picking up an emitter signature. Watch for security holograms. Dangerous. Don't shoot them. Attacking them is useless.
So we haven't encountered any of the dangerous holograms up until this point. We'll have to be extra vigilant. In the corner, we find another one of Dean's secret stashes.
Never should have left those stupid handprints. Dead giveaway.
Going through each of these rooms, we find an auto dock in almost all of them, until at the very end, we reach the final room and find a malfunctioning auto dock. When we interact with it, the door slides open. Out jumps a woman, but this woman is completely scarred. She has scars on her head, her mouth, and her neck, and she's wearing one of Father Elijah's explosive slave collars. When she emerges from the autodock, she's confused and disoriented. When you try to talk with her, she blinks and opens her mouth trying to talk, but nothing comes out. She then reaches up and touches her throat, then traces the scar along her neck, and her eyes go wide. She's discovering for the first time that someone has cut out her vocal cords. She can't speak because her vocal cords are gone. At first, she gets angry and scared. She thinks that maybe you were responsible for this. We then have to go through a number of dialogue options to convince her that we didn't do this to her. We do so by pointing to our own explosive slave collar and saying, look, we're in this together. We're connected by the neck. If you try to take off your collar, mine will go off. Someone else has done this to us. Now we can ask her to come with us because we need her help, but she'll refuse. Going through some of the dialogue options, we learned that it's because she came here looking for something or for someone else. She doesn't elaborate just yet, but she has a task. She's busy. She doesn't have time for us. Now we can either force her to come with us by threatening to put her back into the auto dock, or we can reason with her, telling her that we need to work together if we want to live. Either way, once we convince her to accompany us, she joins us as a companion, and we get the signal interference perk, which gives us a little more time when near a radio before our collar starts beeping, and increases the time between when the collar starts beeping and when our head explodes by 50%. With Christine in our party, we can weave our way out of the clinic and back to the Villa Fountain. Dean Domino likes to poke and prod our companions. When we bring Christine back, Dean picks on her a bit.
So, what's your story, beautiful? Don't talk much, do you? All right then, I'll just wallflower it over here.
Now that the 4 of us are together by the fountain in the villa, Father Elijah's face appears as a hologram, giving us our next instructions.
Good. Well done. Now for the festivities and your parts in all this. The owner of the Sierra Madre, for whatever reason, keyed the grand opening to the gala event itself. It needs to be fired off in order for the casino doors to open. As I've discovered, one person can't do it. So get your team in position indicated on your Pip-Boy, then trigger it properly. so close now. Don't let me down. Otherwise, I'll have to rely on the next team.
What is this gala event?
A display of lights, fireworks, music in the streets. A pre-war festival to mark the casino's opening. The bomb struck first. It is of no consequence, only firing the event is. Get the three in position, then travel to your position in Salida del Sol and trigger the gate. After that, the real work begins.
The real work? What do you mean?
Perhaps you think this is a simple robbery, a cheap casino heist. No, this is a heist of the centuries. We're not plundering Sierra Madre. We're plundering history, taken from the old world itself. It won't let its secrets go easily, not without a fight. I wouldn't expect anything less. I'd suggest taking the FEV reject to his position first. Although you may need his brutality and strength elsewhere first. As easy as the villa was to navigate, the outlying areas of the villa are far more dangerous, thicker with the ghost people, traps, and toxins. Use your team as I use you. Listen to your caller. Watch where you step. You're no use to me dead.
So Father Elijah needs us to trigger this gala event, which will somehow unlock the casino doors, allowing him inside. To do so, we need to take each of our three companions and place them in strategic locations around the villa, to get Christine in position. Through a door, we run quickly to bypass some speakers to end at a hard-locked door. If our lockpicking is great enough, we can pick this lock, race inside, and then hack a very easy terminal. This terminal allows us to turn off the speakers. Once done, we can continue along the catwalk to end at one of the control pods. Here on one of the desks, we find Ennis's key. Well, we already found the locker that this key will open up. Continuing around the corner, we reach a room with a terminal. In this room, we find an elevator. Activating it, we see we have an option to go either up or down. If we choose to go down, the elevator takes us to a small, cramped room filled with electrical controls. There's no room to move, and we hear a high-pitched whirring noise that sounds a lot like the noise we heard coming from the auto dock where we found Christine. It looks like the power can be manually controlled from this location, but we get the idea that this terminal was meant to only be used in emergencies, and we should be able to control the power equally well from other terminals. We just need to find a way to unlock remote control. With this knowledge in hand, we head back up the elevator where we left Christine, and she takes us aside. She sees the elevator door nearby, and she tells you that she's hesitant to go near it. We tell her that she has to go near it because we must continue forward. But she looks again at the elevator and then glances back at us and reluctantly shakes her head. We can ask her what's wrong, and she looks at the elevator and then raises a hand up and raises a hand down. It's clear she can't stand confined spaces. Of course, this makes perfect sense. She spent days, weeks, God knows how long stuck in that confined autodock, which slit her throat and ripped out her vocal cords. Of course, she doesn't like confined spaces. She was having a hard enough time inside this big building alone. We can't expect her to go inside an elevator. Now, we can trick her by saying, "We'll take the elevator up together. See if there's another way to do this. After you," which would of course trap her in the elevator, making her angry. We could say that we don't have time and order her, "Get in the damn elevator." Or we can find some other way to fix this problem. This kindness, this understanding, is not lost on Christine. She brings a clenched fist to her chest in a sign of understanding and thankfulness. Now, we may already have the answer in hand. Remember, we found Ennis's key. Heading all the way back to Ennis's locker, we can use the key to unlock it, and inside we find the remote maintenance terminal password. This allows us to activate the power remotely. We don't have to go down into that cramped maintenance room. With the password in hand, we run back to the maintenance terminal where we left Christine. We can tell her that we found a way to do it remotely. "You don't have to get in the elevator, Christine." Christine is grateful. She nods in relief. She smiles and gives us a thumbs up. Here we can be rude and say, yeah, thumbs up, you better appreciate it, which gains us nothing. Or we can continue to empathize with her and express our concern. Christine, are you going to be okay here? She nods, and then she offers you her hand. We take her hand in ours. She holds it. Our eyes meet intently for a moment. Then she gives our hand a gentle squeeze and gives us a slight smile. Here, if we have the perk Cherchez les femmes, we have an option to tell her that we're going to be back for her. We then have to weave through the villa maze, raiding more terminals and killing more ghost people, until we pass through a wine cellar filled with skeletons, and climb through stairs and across a series of roofs until we find a ladder that brings us to a roof where we find the gala event control panel. Once here, Elijah contacts us.
Can you hear me? Damn transceivers. Let me link the callers to the speaker in the tower, then... There.
We hear tapping coming from the speaker. This is Christine. We tell her that we're ready, and then we hear from the others.
Ready. The both of us. I'll keep Dog locked in his cage. You just open the Sierra Madre.
What are you waiting for, Ruppigan? Strike up the band already. Careful when you do. You think the villa's bad now? You haven't seen anything yet.
And with that, we say, let's do this. I'm ready, everyone. Trigger the event.
Finally. Now, the gates will open, and so will the skies.
We hear a siren going off in the distance, and then fireworks and spotlights appear in the sky above the Sierra Madre. Tragically, the spectacle is obscured by the thick, rust-colored fog, but I imagine that the sight, as it was intended to be seen by Sinclair, must have been quite beautiful. With that, we have to fight our way back to the door of the Sierra Madre Casino, and just like Dean Domino predicted, the sirens and the sounds of the firework has summoned more ghost people from the sewers and the depths beneath the villa. We find a hard fight ahead of us as we chop and blast our way through ghost people, throwing spears at us, ghost people throwing bombs at us. After an hour of running, hiding, and fighting, we finally arrive back at the fountain, only to discover that there are new shielded speakers trying to kill us. We have to act quickly. We race to the gate of the Sierra Madre Casino and open it. This is a point of no return depending on the choices we make in this casino. Once we enter, there will be some things we can no longer loot. So once we are sure we've gotten everything we want, we can proceed to the Sierra Madre. As we enter, we see the bodies of our companions lying on the floor. And then we too collapse as gas rises from the ground. When we awake, our companions are gone. What happened? Where did they go?
You inside. Can you hear me? Power's fluctuating. Emergency power. Oh, you are in. Good. Thought that might be the end of you. Unfortunately, your friends also found their way here, knocked unconscious, just like you. Wondering what happened? You were hit by casino security. Detects anything foreign, radioactive. It subdues the visitor, moves them if needed. Getting interference from old recordings. The guests who were trapped here shut that noise off. Looks like the casino moved your friends around once inside. Might be useful, or not. Wonder if they came to help or kill you. Still, my signal should work through the speakers now that you're inside. Welcome to the Sierra Madre in all its glory. This is what the old world stood for, even with bombs about to rain down on them. Now, look at it. Beautiful now its guests are all dead. Better this way. Quiet. How the Mojave should be. Now, with the casino sleeping, it's got places closed off. Won't let you go yet. We'll get there. Trust me, just need to wake it up.
And with that, he leaves us to figure out what to do next. We have to be careful exploring this lobby, as there are numerous shielded speakers. And if we get too close to these speakers, our head explodes. The only terminal in this lobby is the receptionist's terminal. Here we find an option to activate the holographic security and to access music controls. If we try to access the music controls, we have 3 tracks to choose from, but none of them work. It says the control is inaccessible, so we need to find a way to unlock these. And if we try to activate the holographic security, we get a message saying activation code required. From this lobby, we can enter the theater, the cantina restaurant, a couple of bathrooms, the casino floor, or take an elevator to the suites. Aside from the bathrooms, all the doors are locked except for the door to the casino. That makes things easier for us. This must be where we should go first. Upon entering the casino, we see a number of security holograms.
This is the past you're walking through. Few have ever seen it. No one else ever will. I worked hard to get here. It'll give me what I need before I leave, and they'll always welcome me back.
Now, look for a way to wake this ghost up. Remind it, it's got guests.
The hologram security is deadly. They almost killed me while I was listening to Father Elijah. We then spend the next hour or so trying to navigate through one of the more tricky encounters in this DLC. We have to sneak past holograms we can't kill, find key cards, find keys, open locked doors, hack into terminals, to reroute the holograms, turn off the speakers, unlock security doors in a specific order to get where we need to go. Ultimately, the goal of this maze is to gain access to a key to an electrical closet on the ground floor of the casino. Once we find the key, we can open the closet door and then flip a switch to restore power to the casino.
You woke it up good. Emitter frequencies lighting up everywhere. Damn recordings. Dead echoes in the frequencies. Casino security is shutting down, opening up its vendor and gambling programs in the back casino. Still might be something for sale. Maybe something can help you now security's shut down. After you're done looking around, head to the lobby and we'll deal with you, friends.
We can now explore the Sierra Madre Casino. We can use all of the gambling machines just like we can at any of the other casinos, and we can exchange pre-war money for Sierra Madre chips, and vice versa. Once we've had our fill of the casino floor, we head back to the lobby.
Casino's woken up, paying attention to us. Good. Wondering what happened to your team? Looks like they got moved to other floors. Interesting. Maybe that's why... Perhaps the casino recognized specific guests, or guests with a voice or look close enough for them to be assigned to that floor. We'll see. Had hoped with the power restored, the systems would fully awaken. Especially the sound archives. But no. Your teammates' callers on each floor are interfering with the systems. It's the white noise filters embedded in their construction. They're blocking the casino speakers, the music. You'll need to recalibrate or destroy each caller. To do that, you need to get close, reset the signal, or blow their heads off. I'll leave the choice up to you. My preference? End them now. They're of no use. After all, it's safe to kill them now, provided you make it quick. You see, the callers don't work inside the Sierra Madre. Well, between floors. Else, I'd set off the callers. Be done with it. So find them, deal with them, as long as you're fast and can get off the floor after killing them. The floors, whatever they line this place with, interferes with the caller frequency. So if you kill them, you should have some time to run. Oh, just not sure how long, may not be consistent, more, less, whatever, it doesn't matter. What we need is in the basement. We need to go to the top first and write our fortunes down. After we deal with your team on the other floors.
So Elijah wants us to kill our team. He no longer has a use for them, but he can't kill them himself because he no longer has a way to remotely detonate the collars. Well, this is good news for us, and it means that if one of our companions die, we no longer die, if we can move from floor to floor quickly enough. The reason he wants them dead is because the collars that he put on them are interfering with the ambient music that is supposed to play on each of those floors. For some reason, Father Elijah is trying to access the ambient music that was played on each of those floors. To gain access to those music archives, we've got to find a way to stop the interference from those collars. His solution is to kill him, but I wonder if there's another way. Selves. To find Dean Domino, we go into the theater.
Is that ghost still alive? Correct that. Or break him.
This theater was called the Tampico, and it was the place where Dean Domino, before he became a ghoul, before the bombs dropped, was scheduled to perform. We learned from Elijah that he speculates that the security system here recognized our companions as guests and transported them to different rooms around the casino. Dog or God must have resembled some pre-war chef, or maybe the remains of one of the ghost people he had eaten once belonged to a pre-war chef working out of this cantina, which is why he was taken to the restaurant. Dean was a registered guest here, and so of course he was taken to his chambers here at the theater. Once we get backstage, there are moments of fog and speakers we have to deal with. The first room with the star is Dean Domino's dressing room. We can destroy a radio on his desk and then turn back to destroy a hologram emitter. Back inside his room, we can unlock Dean's safe, where we'll find some ammunition and Dean Domino's blackmail tape. Now, I had to make a decision with this video. There are, after all, 2 stories being told with this DLC. The story that we're going through right now, surviving the casino and confronting Elijah, and the story of what happened 200 years ago. The story of Sinclair, the man who built this casino, the story of Vera Keys, the starlet who stole his heart, and the story of Dean Domino, for he was alive at that time. He was an intimate associate of both Vera Keys and Sinclair, and so his story is wrapped up in both the past and the present. If I conflate both stories now, this video will be longer than it needs to.
Hey, you're making real progress. Good. Look, that's Vera's room. So careful what you touch in there. Be respectful.
In Vera's dressing room, we found Dean's holotape, which remember we're planning to play from the holotape projector to fool the security system into thinking that everything's okay, that there's no longer an emergency because the show is going on, which should disable the security holograms. Heading out from backstage, we can run up a staircase in the back of the room, which leads to the projector room. Here we can activate the holotape projector and insert Dean's holotape. Once done, a pre-war hologram of none other than our very own ghoul Dean Domino appears on stage to perform a song. Hologram audience members appear to applaud, and after the short song is over, Elijah contacts us.
Now, deal with the ghoul. This has gone on long enough.
To chat with him as a partner.
Oh, those electric ghosts aren't the kind of audience I like at the best of times. At least the ones in the villa had manners. Don't even know how I ended up here. Guess the casino still recognizes guests, even after all this time, huh? How's that for history?
Yeah, buddy, lucky us. Love getting shot at by pre-war ghosts.
Look, I'm more about the short goodbyes than long, thankful speeches. But I appreciate you bailing me out of a tight spot there, partner. I know you didn't do it out of the goodness of your heart. So let me give you something a little more practical. A way we both come out ahead.
What do you mean?
I'm not an idiot. I know the reason I'm in here now is because of the old guy. And you. And you're wearing a collar, so I trust you a little more than the old guy. He's more controlling than I'd like. Thing is, here's where being my partner pays off. See, I know how to get into the casino vault.
Oh, do you? Go on.
There's a private elevator, Sinclair's elevator. It's up in the executive suites in Vera's room. Not a coincidence. Vera. She was my other partner before the bomb. Took some legwork. Some convincing made it happen.
And here we hear a long and tragic tale about Dean's involvement with Vera and Sinclair. We can also unlock this story by showing Dean the blackmail holotape that we found in his room. As I said, I want to save that story for later. The main point we can take away from this is that Sinclair made Veraki's voice the key to the vault. In order for the doors to open, the security system needs to hear her voice. Dean knew this, and so he was the one who found Christine and put her in the autodock. He was the one that programmed the autodock to rip out her vocal cords and replace them with Vera Key's vocal cords. Either that or alter the cords in such a way so that they exactly matched the tenor of Vera Key's voice.
Then that woman showed up, covered in scars. The one who makes all the hand signs, a little tight around the corners of her mouth. I put her in the clinic, tuned her like an instrument. If she heals up, it's not going to be her voice speaking anymore. That is, if the Sierra Madre didn't get her. If it did, well, there's enough of Vera around for me to spend a few years piecing a book together.
And if Christina's alive?
Then she can make some beautiful music. I'm not banking on it. So here's the short of it. Piece together Little Miss Vera Key's song in the right order. Sierra Madre opens its legs, we're in business.
All right, I'll head out and see what I can do on my end.
Go! Knock yourself out. I'm just going to catch my breath a bit. That performance, well, more pressure than I was expecting.
You see, Dean wanted a backup plan. He wanted as many options as possible. He knew that given enough time and given access to the casino, he could probably scratch together a good facsimile of Vera Key's voice, which is what Father Elijah is trying to do right now. But even better would be to have the real thing. So when Christine followed Elijah here, when the man traps incapacitated her, and after Dog captured her and affixed a collar upon her, Dean managed to find her unconscious and put her in an autodock, and then programmed that autodock to perform surgery on Christine's vocal cords to change her voice to sound like Vera Key's. Dean truly is a despicable man, but perhaps not quite as despicable as the man we are now fighting, Father Elijah. After all, Dean just stole Christine's voice. Father Elijah has now told us to go kill Christine. Leaving the theater, Elijah reminds us of our final task.
Another fragment. Good. Almost have the entirety of what I need from the music archives. Once you have the last fragment, you can thread the archives together at the main floor terminal.
Christine is somewhere in the executive suite, and now we have the key to the elevator. When we arrive on the floor, Elijah talks to us, and if we are friendly with Christine, we finally hear her voice. Or rather, Vera Key's voice.
Find the mute and deal with her. She's somewhere on this floor. Floor's buzzing with emitter signatures. Watch out for holograms.
If it's who I think it is, this is Christine. Recovered. In what looks like an old world hotel room. High class. 2 rooms. Exit sealed. All doors are locked down. Security's activated. And emitter signals are lighting up all over this floor. I'll do what I can from here. Floor's got holographic security. Not latest tech. Field of view targeting systems. Primitive. Familiar.
We find something disturbing on this floor. As we walk around, we hear a voice. It sounds like that voice we just heard, Christine's voice. Although we realize now that it's not Christine's voice. After all, Dean just told us that he put Christine in the autodock to change her voice and turn it into Vera's. Which means that if we're hearing another voice that sounded like Christine, it must be Vera Key's. As we explore, we find the starlit hologram. The same hologram we saw at the fountain. The same hologram we saw on the stairs. This must be the hologram of Vera Keys, and she sounds frightened.
I'm going to die here, amongst the ghosts. I'm still being recorded by the holographic system. I came so far to be here. Now I just want to leave. Please. Let me leave. We all pay for what we've done. I'm so sorry, Sinclair. Sorry, I should have trusted you. Let go. Let go of what? Sinclair? Sinclair, where did you go? Why did you leave me here? Why? Sinclair! Sinclair! The doors, they sealed. I can hear the other guests screaming to be let out, to let go. Sinclair, is that you? Sinclair? Sinclair, I'm trapped, please. Oh God, the security systems won't let me out. They're keeping me here.
If we get too close to her hologram, if we allow her hologram to see us, she freaks out and starts firing, all while screaming the name of her former lover.
Where did you go? Why did you leave me here?
When the bombs dropped, the security system shut down everything, trapping the guests in their rooms, trapping Vera Keys in her room. While the guests in the hotel were all dying, being killed by the holograms, dying from the cloud, or from fallout from the bomb, the holographic defense system was recording them. We heard Vera Keys in her own voice say that the holograms were recording. They were recording that very moment. What we heard her hologram say were the last words that Vera Keys ever spoke. The hologram recorded those words, and somehow that recording of her voice got interwoven with the security system. Instead of looking like security, the hologram took on the voice and appearance of the last person it encountered. A dying Vera Keys. We are facing a scared, grieving lover moments before she died. We are facing her ghost. To me, this was one of the most twisted moments in this DLC. Christine notices it too.
Floor looks like it protected the guests too well.
What?
Check the suite. Found the holographic woman from the Villa Fountain.
It protected them too well by making them immortal. The holograms designed to protect them, the very holograms that ultimately killed them, now wear their faces and use their voices. It's a tough, long task, sneaking from room to room, trying to avoid Vera's hologram. Until at last we find a maintenance workshop. In this terminal we can download some recipes, view some lore, and download the hologram code, which allows us to turn it non-hostile.
You made it. Good. There's to talk. I'll keep this quick in case my voice goes out.
We can mention that she sounds like Vera Keys, the woman on the Sierra Madre broadcast.
Do I? Sounds off to my ears. Hard to tell. Not to mention it hurts like hell to swallow. Might be why I got moved off to this suite. It's hers. That's her over there. Got trapped by security like I did. Just took a different way out.
Of course, she got moved to Vera Keys' room because the security recognized her voice as that belonging to Vera Keys. They thought Christine was Vera, so they put her in Vera's room. Christine, now that your voice is back, was there anything you wanted to say?
I've been hunting the one who hijacked your Pip-Boy, Elijah, for some time. He cannot leave the Sierra Madre alive. What he's done here is nothing compared to what he's done in the past. The only way to bring him out is if you get to the vault. He won't allow you to go down there alone. That's when we kill him.
How long have you been hunting Elijah?
Too long. Thought I might have had a chance to settle it before this event happened. But then the chance slipped away again.
Settle it? You mean you're here to kill him?
Those are my orders. I've seen what he's done, and I believe in those orders.
Sounds personal.
He cut me off from someone I cared about a long time ago. He used his status to break us apart, so I had to find a new purpose. Same banner. Then he became unstable, left a trail of crimes across the wasteland. Once word reached us, I was ordered to kill him.
He said he knew you.
He saw me, before the scars, at a place far from here. It's where he found some of the technology he uses now. It's a place called the Big Empty. The name's deceptive, if you know where to look. Almost got trapped there. There was someone else, though, who came along, knew about Elijah.
Someone else who knew about Elijah? How?
No idea. A courier. Wore an old world flag on his back. He was the one who pulled me out there. Told me where Elijah had gone. Helped me heal up. Listened to my story. He sympathized.
A courier? And he sympathized with you? Why?
He said he understood what it meant to track someone who had such a impact on his past life. He said people were like couriers, sometimes never understanding the messages they brought. That's who he was hunting for. Some courier.
With this exchange, we get a great deal of foreshadowing about events that will occur with characters we will meet from the other DLCs. But those are stories for another day. You know, Christine, you could have told me this sooner.
Wasn't sure until now I could trust you. Now I know. Look, when I woke up here, however that happened, I had this key on me. I think it belongs to her. Haven't had a chance to use it yet. Might open the dresser or the safe. Didn't have time to experiment with it before you arrived. Here you go.
How did you get here from the gala event?
The gala went off. The switching station opened up. Thought the screeching in the auto dock was bad. Station worse. Got outside, saw the light show, and it was enough to make me run to the casino. Also, it seemed like the lights and speakers were helping to guide me. Guess your master wanted a backup in case you died. As for being assigned to this floor, maybe it's because of my new voice. Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe it recognized me as a guest.
So Elijah was going to use her as a backup in case something happened to us. Does that auto dock still work?
Yeah, it's still functional. A lot of garbage data on it. Its basic procedures should still work fine.
Can the auto dock heal your scars?
No. They run a lot deeper than that. While I was hunting Elijah in the Big Empty, he trapped me in one of those medical research centers buried there. It did something to my head, and I got off lucky. It's difficult enough to read now, and somehow the leap between what's in my head and words, it just ends up being a mishmash of symbols, not letters. Can still do math, formulas, equations, writing poetry's out.
You said you got off lucky?
Yeah, I saw records of other patients and what had been done to them. Some couldn't hear anything but static, others just gibbering wrecks, never going back. And Elijah was on his way here, so I couldn't stop to see if it was something I could fix. If you can even fix what happened to me when they jabbed the electrodes into my skull and turned my head into a flashlight. Then I got here, and my voice got severed. Now I have a new one. Another thing Elijah has to answer for.
Hey, some I need to tell you. Elijah didn't put you in the auto dock. Dean did.
Dean? Dean Domino? Why would he want to torture me? If he wanted to do that, he could keep his singing career going. Or keep staring at me.
Well, he wasn't trying to torture you, but he wanted to alter your voice to sound like Vera Keyes. Your voice is a key.
To the vault. Of course. That makes sense.
Aren't you upset?
I've done worse. Much worse. And for more hopeless causes. And I will again.
There's still a chance Elijah will see reason.
Try and reason with him. See what happens. He's so lost in his technology. I don't think he even understands why anymore.
I'm just glad you're safe, Christine. Hold up here. I'll take care of Elijah.
Good luck. He's not an easy opponent. If I can, I'll help. Might be able to figure something out using the Sierra Madre's computer systems.
After interviewing Christine, we can back out of Vera's bedroom to the opposite side of the room. Here we can use Vera's key that Christine gave us to unlock this door.
The door to the vault is voice activated, which means we need the Starlight's voice, or recordings of it.
Voice.
Now, each of the places we have visited in the casino, the cantina, the theater, the executive suites, has given us access to a new snippet of recording of Vera Keyes' voice. Now, even if we keep Christine alive, we still have to assemble Vera Keyes' voice from audio recordings. I'm not sure why Christine can't just walk over to the speaker and talk, but we find no option in the game to have her do that. Down at the terminal, we can retrieve the ambient track that was played in each of these different portions of the casino. And with all 3 tracks in hand and now woven together in one short song, we can head back upstairs to the executive suite and play it for the security speaker. We then take the elevator to the vault.
You're in the vault, finally, after all this time. The Sierra Madre. Mine. Hiding? Hardly. Trapped. You think you were the first one to unlock the casino door? No, I did it. With other hands, other bodies. After that, the casino wouldn't let go. Once I was on there, no way out. Until your Pip-Boy signal came to life in the middle of it. Then things changed. And here you are. Persist in threatening me or the Sierra Madre's secrets. You're of no use to me. I'll set off your collar now.
Whoever designed the Sierra Madre, their obsession with messing with frequencies and signals. I'm coming down. I'll meet you face to face at the vault entrance. If you resist, I'll use the collar even if it puts the vault at risk.
The survivors of the Sierra Madre thought about gathering at the fountain and waiting for the courier. In the end, the caller's silence made them uneasy, and the fear of turning on each other made them hesitate and leave the goodbyes unspoken. The radio message at the fountain was enough for them, and there was no need to add another farewell on top of all they had suffered.
Freed of both Dog and the one who held Dog's leash, the other voice resumed control. First the mind, then finally the mutant's shell. His first act was to tend to the scars on the body with careful hands, slowly healing all the scars, except the ragged name torn on his chest. He briefly thought of remaining at the Sierra Madre, but it was a monument built by humans, representing something he no longer needed. He began walking west, in search of others like him. As he did, he spoke of the courier who had set him free and allowed his life to begin again.
Dean Domino, entertainer, singer, thief, explored the Sierra Madre not long after he was rescued by the courier. Once he left the theater, the Sierra Madre recognized him as a guest, and many doors opened to him. He had to admit it had been built to last. During his search, he came across the final records of Vera and Sinclair, and realized what happened the night the bombs fell. He felt strangely sad for a moment, and he had no idea why. Shrugging it off, his mind turned instead to where the courier had come from. Vegas still survived, out there in the Mojave. Its sights, sounds, and casinos, ripe for the taking. So, giving the Sierra Madre one last nod and a wink, he set off beyond the cloud to begin again.
Christine, her mission complete, found new purpose as the Sierra Madre's warden. She watched over it silently, by choice. Over time, the ghost people came to see her as one of the holograms. They would watch, silently, as she walked among them. At times, Christine thought of the courier, who had kept Elijah's hand from her throat. The courier reminded her of the other courier she had met in the Big Empty, and wondered if the two had found each other at last. She did not think of them again until she heard the legends of the Divide. The Divide, where the two messengers, the two couriers, fought beneath an ancient flag, at the edge of the world.
You heard of the Sierra Madre Casino?
We all have. The legend, the curses.
Some foolishness about it lying in the middle of a city of dead.
A city of ghosts. Beneath a blood-red cloud.
A bright, shining monument, reaching out, luring treasure hunters to their doom. An illusion.
A promise that you can change your fortunes. Begin again.
Finding it, though. That's not the hard part. It's letting go.
It's letting go.
It's letting go.
It's letting go. It's letting go.
Before you go, we hope you've enjoyed your stay. Farewells can be a time of sadness. Letting go, difficult. As a guest of the Sierra Madre, you know that truth more than anyone. Frederick Sinclair believed one's life could be made anew every day. That fortunes were more than the wealth in your hands. Love, life, family, those to care for, and those who will care for you. To those who know these joys, the Sierra Madre holds little they don't already have. Out in the world, beyond these walls, that is your chance to begin again. I hope you'll return in happier times. Until then, the Sierra Madre and I will hold you in our hearts.
Begin again in the night. Let's sway again tonight. Your arm on my shoulder, your cheek against my